from the beginning of this nation. But after slavery, when we, were no longer on the plantations and we began to have some semblance of freedom in this country, propaganda was a tool that was used against Black people to demean us, to denigrate us, and to basically destroy our image for the world to see. So when people say things like, why don't you just ignore that? Well, we could ignore it, but ignoring it doesn't benefit us because we have to dispel the lies and the propaganda being, put out there against us. And what some people don't know is that one of the first movies ever made in this country was a propaganda hit piece against Black men called The Birth of a Nation. And this movie pretty much created the Black boogeyman theory, where this movie pretty much portrayed Black men as dangerous and predatory against white women. And what people don't understand about this film is that propaganda materialized into a number of lynchings and actual murders of Black men. So you cannot allow for propaganda to be spread and to be spewed because there are actual real life repercussions for that. And that is the reason why I decided to address this Nick Fuentes nonsense today, because what we're going to have to start doing as a community is we're going to have to start shutting these people down before they let the bullshit fester. Everything they say, we're going to have to counter it. Because like I said, these people are in no position to give us advice, to judge us, any of that. Because when you begin to pull back the layers on their community, you will see that they are in no position to give us any type of advice about anything. So we're going to go ahead and roll the clip of Nick Fuentes because he had some things to say. And we're going to address those things right after this.
Anything right. They're obnoxious, they're rude, they're inconsiderate, aggressive, cruel. And, look, nobody hates Black people for being Black. If there are people like that, I think that's exceedingly rare. And I don't consider myself one of them. The reason that people have negative attitudes about Black people is because most people's interactions with Black people are negative. Most people's interactions with Black people is when you're stuck in traffic and you see a Nissan Altima speeding down the shoulder. And you say, what the fuck? You're not supposed to do that. If everybody did that, it would just be another lane. And, not everybody can do that. But it's like these people have no respect for decorum. They think the rules don't apply to them. They have no respect for society. Like that's their interaction is they are a waiter and they wait on a Black table and the Black people don't tip and they're fucking rude. Like that's most people's interactions. It's stuff like that. They go to the DMV and they see a Black person behind the counter and they say, oh, here we go. And the person's rude. Now, it just goes to show people are not racist. It goes to show people don't like people that are rude. That people don't, it's unpleasant. People want to be treated with consideration and respect. And it is true that Black people are, in this day and age, unfortunately, seem to have very low moral character. It's not even just the violence, although the violence is pretty striking. If you live your life and you know that you're going to be mugged by Black people, it kind of colors your opinion or perception of Black people, wouldn't you say? If 99% of the carjackings and stabbings and shootings that you see in Chicago are by Black people, when you're walking down the street late at night, guess what you're looking for? Black people. It doesn't take a lot of them to spoil the whole bunch like that. And we just want Black people to take accountability. And I'm not a bad person. It just seems that every time I encounter you people, for the most part, it's negative. And sometimes extremely negative, like I could get a gun in my face. That's a problem. And people go, well, you are just loaded up with hatred and racism. It's like, I'm really not. I'm a really friendly person. I'm a really polite, friendly person. I give everybody a chance. But if I'm someplace and I see some Black person walking in with their pants sagging and they can't articulate what their problem is or what they need, and they're rude and they're aggressive and I'm in fear for my life, I have a problem with all of that. And these black people go, well, you're racist, you're racist. It's like, no, I just hate inconsiderate behavior. It just bothers me in this damn ass city, because that's all it is in Chicago, is just these black people who can never take accountability. It's always somebody else's fault.
Well, that was a loaded video. He had a lot to say.
Whole bunch.
And with people like Nick Fuentes, first of all, he's a white Latino. And I kept trying to tell people about these white Latinos. I don't know why people just don't want to listen. See, I'm from Miami. So I know firsthand about these white Latinos, these wannabe Anglo-Saxons. And I mean, everything that he mentioned, I want to say this first, because he says most people's interactions with black people are negative interactions. First of all, who is the most people that he's talking about? Is he talking about most people in the country of every ethnic background? Or I'm going to assume he's talking about white people. I'm pretty sure he's talking about a few other white sympathizers, white supremacist sympathizers. I'll make that disclaimer, because every time we have these conversations, well, the phone lines are blowing up. And I don't know what's going on with this, but let's see. Caller, you live? Hello?
Nick Fuentes is a whole bitch nigger. He's a whole bitch nigger. No, and I'm saying that because he was mockingly saying that himself. That some Heather gave him an N-word pass. I'm not gonna say the name, but so ever since then he's been using that word and saying bitch nigger and all sorts of weird stuff. But he's a whole Mexican talking about being a white man. That's how you know white is a race, it's not a racial identity. Because he's a whole as Mexican talking about, as a white man, what the fuck? He should not even be in the racial conversation. Like, he really needs to exit stage left.
Yeah, but he's a white Latino. He's a white Latino. White Latinos identify as white.
Exactly. But it shouldn't be. It's a horrible thing. That just proves that white is a race. It's not a real true racial identification. And he just rattles off a whole bunch of stereotypes. Yeah, okay. People see these in the movies. There's some black people that may emulate these stereotypes. They even watch them. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, but so what? That does not. It's not the whole black population. That's bullshit. I live in the safe. I'm completely safe in my neighborhood. I can leave my door open. Nobody can go in there. But that I live in a completely black neighborhood, 100% black. So this whole thing about blah blah black people like this, black people like that, coming from you're not even in the black experience at all. You know what I'm saying? All you know is stereotypes or whatever. All this stuff like that. Like, it's just crazy. Nick Fuentes is a bitch nigger, and he's completely a bitch for trying to be a grifter, a racial grifter. That's what he is.
Yeah, there is a grift. There is a grift element to it. But these people, they're not just grifters. And I thought about that earlier, because a lot of people were saying, like, don't feed into the grift, and they're grifting, and they are. They get a crowd of people that follow them and contribute to their platforms because they're denigrating black people. And yes, denigrating black people is big business. You can get very wealthy doing that. But at the same time, the reason why I felt like this was so critical to talk about this tonight is because people are missing the element of this, that these people are waging psychological warfare against us, constantly denigrating us and painting us as these evil, criminal people, that's psychological warfare. And that's what white supremacy is. That's one of the arms of white supremacy. It's to engage in psychological warfare against black people. And this is what people like Charlie Kirk, Nick Fuentes, Ben Shapiro, what's the other one that you don't really see anymore? I can't remember their names. There's so many
Sean
of these
Hannity?
idiots. No, not Sean Hannity.
Oh.
It's Jared Taylor. And it was one more. He was debating Roland Martin. I can't remember his name right now, but this is what
yeah, that guy. Just, he is a complete fraud, and he copied my style 100%. The Charlottesville guy. I know you're talking about.
Yeah,
Let's make sure that everybody knows that it's Palmetto Star, the founder of TourOfferTV.tv.
yes. We got Palmetto Star in the house. So
Thank you. And I always love Shelly speaks truth too. But I'll say this as well. I'll say that, it is psychological warfare, Shelly. You have, it's just like Birth of a Nation. When they released that film.
Yep.
And how mobs of hell people went into the streets afterwards. And they showed that in the White House. That was the first film America produced, and they showed it in the White House.
It was I don't know if you saw the beginning of the show. I talked about Birth of a Nation because Birth of a Nation.
That's crazy.
Birth of a Nation was a propaganda hit piece against black men. That was one of the first films ever made in this country. And it was a propaganda hit piece against black men. And like I said, this is why propaganda is extremely dangerous, because that movie led to Jim Crow. It led to lynchings. It led to all sorts of harm coming towards our people. So we gotta stop this stuff at the gates. We cannot allow propaganda against us to continue, because these people have not changed their pathology. And we're going to have to stay on their ass. That's just the reality of what it is.
Right. And we need an ADLS organization that will cancel people as soon as they utter a word about black people.
Yep.
As soon as you say a word about black people, you should be canceled. You should be working at freaking McDonald's. That's seriously. Like, as soon as you utter any word about black people, I don't care if you're even black. I don't care if you're black. You should be canceled. And we have, we have the people to do it, but we just need to organize. So that's what I'm putting out there to my TourOfferTV TV family. Let's do it. Black ATL, and anybody that says any stupid thing about black people, cancel.
Yep. I agree 100%. But thank you so much for your call.
Always, Shelly speaks truth.
It's so crazy that he these people are so predictable. That's why Palmetto can talk about Birth of a Nation before he even, without even knowing that I mentioned Birth of a Nation, because these people don't, like I said, their pathology does not change.
Yeah, well, storybook, if it works, if you're trying to accomplish something and you come up with a result that works, you don't change that result. You just implement it different ways. You try to be cuter about it.
But I'm glad you said that, because that's kind of the catalyst to my next point. We're seeing the crash outs to the magnitude that we are because that propaganda is starting to fall flat.
Yeah, the cuteness ain't working no more.
It's not really working anymore. And that's why we are seeing, like I said, the crash outs to the magnitude that we're seeing them. Because every time these people jump on and first of all, before I even finish my statement, shout out to the black grassroots. Because the black grassroots has been doing this thing for about the past 2 to 3 years. Like, we've always been doing our thing, but for the past 2 to 3 years, we've been shutting the BS down immediately. We crashed the Democratic Party. We've just been doing our thing. And every time one of these people hop on any social media platform with their projections against us, they get shut down immediately. And that is why the grift, the spin, all of that is falling flat. It's not working. They don't know what to do with this new breed of black people. Because in the past, and this is not a dig at our ancestors or anything like that, but, and I won't even say our ancestors, because just 10 years ago, these people would get up on platforms, denigrate us, and we would spend our time trying to counter that by trying to prove them wrong and saying, oh no, that's not us. We don't behave that way. We don't. All that is over. They come with the nonsense. We shut them down. We let them know who they are, what they do. See, when you hold a mirror up to them, they can't handle that reflection.
Talk about it.
They can't handle that reflection.
You know, it's funny because it's so crazy you said that, right? Mm-hmm. Completely differently. I was having a talk about with AI about how to like hold people, you know, like how to stop the machine, not hold people, but how to stop the machine that's currently in place of the whole white supremacist machine, and that's exactly what it was. Is like you have to hold the mirror. That's the only
exactly
thing that
what
you can
have
do.
To do.
That's the only thing that you could really do is you gotta shine that mirror bright every time. You know, every time that's being said, it's like, hey, no, wait a minute, open that closet you got over there.
We're in sync, because I was just about to say that. While they're in our closet, in our business, we're good. We got this. We don't need your advice. Like I said, you can't tell us anything. Because I thought about this analogy earlier. I said, people like Nick Fuentes and his ilk, they'll get up on social media and listen, Nick Fuentes, that video that I showed y'all, that wasn't even the worst of Nick Fuentes, okay? This man literally sat up there and said he does not want to live around black people. He basically just wants black people to disappear. That's his whole thing. He wants us gone. He wants us to disappear. He doesn't want to live around us, which is fine. I have no problems with that at all. But again, he doesn't. Basically, we are a problem for this country and pretty much the world. Black people are the problem. That's his whole spiel. So while he's over here worrying about the black community, his community is out there crashing out against each other. I think there's been 7 mass shootings within like the past 2 weeks. And these people have the room to be worried about us. It's like the call.
What do you say, white on white crime?
Coming from inside the fucking house. And you keep ignoring the phone. Pick up the phone and answer it. Deal with your community. You guys are crashing out on each other. People are being slaughtered left and right.
Picked off.
It was a guy. I think this happened like a week or so ago. This man shot like 7 officers. They're crashing out. And the media and all these right-wing talking heads, the liberals are quiet about it too. Make no mistake. Because the liberals are, what do they say, the fox and the sheep? I don't know. Malcolm X broke this down perfectly. But basically, the Republicans are the fox. You can see their teeth. The liberals, the Democrats, whatever you want to call them, they're the sheeps.
Ain't none one of them good to eat.
Your big back behind just had to make this about food. But anyway, the Republicans are going to show you their fangs. They're going to show you their teeth. You can see them coming. The liberals are a lot more, what's the word I'm looking for?
Cunning? What?
No.
Conniving?
Yeah, that, but that's not the word I'm looking for, but it's basically the same thing. The liberals are a lot more deceptive. Okay, they're more sneaky. So they operate differently from the Republicans, but at the end of the day, it's all the same goal. And you notice the liberals have not really been talking about all the crash outs happening in the white community either. Because at the end of the day, the name of the game is preserving white supremacy.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where that's where both parties are in line,
Yeah.
right? That's the one thing that they're both in line on.
Yes. They have to maintain this system because it's all they have. I mean, they don't have anything else, if we're just going to be honest. The system of white supremacy is all they have. So they're going to fight tooth and nail to maintain it. And there was a few folks, I'm just going to say this. There was a few folks that were like, oh, why do you guys, try to make it seem like all white people are bad? I don't have the time to sit up here and be putting out disclaimers. If it don't apply, let it fly. I mean, it's really just that simple. If you're not a white supremacist, I'm not talking to you. But if you feel some type of way about what I'm saying,
I'm talking to
it's
you.
probably because you are white supremacists.
I'm talking to you directly. No, literally directly. Now, and I'm glad you said that because doing the advertisement for this particular show, right, across social media, the algorithms on TikTok is really good, right? So it's going to put it into people that is going to trigger some response from them. Doesn't care. The algorithm doesn't care whether it's a good or a bad response. They just want a response, right? Mm-hmm. They want the engagement, right? So a lot of the people are getting on, and they're talking about how this guy was right, Fuentes, how he's right, and how we should prove him wrong. And first of all,
that's what they want us to do. They want us to be proving them wrong.
So first of all, you're not my goddamn superior, right? You're not my mama, my daddy, my uncle. None of those freaking things, auntie, none of that. Shout out to all of these stepmother, all of these people. You're none of these fucking people. Mm-hmm. You matter zero. Zero. I'm one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. But if a Nick Fuentes, whatever the fuck, is anywhere in my vicinity spewing some of those things that I heard him spewing, he's definitely going to get checked in ways where his ego is going to be crushed like a little ant, and he's going to feel just as small as he deserves to feel, and that is what is going to make him feel like I am aggressive. You see how it works?
You just hit the nail on the head, and this thought slipped my mind because I was about to say this when I introduced the video. Nick Fuentes says most people's encounters with black people are negative encounters. But what he, I'm sure, is aware of, but would never mention, is that these folks are picking up on your energy. These folks,
you get what you give,
can see the white supremacy oozing off of you.
You get what you give, buddy.
You're having negative interactions with people because you're operating in negative energy with these people. Do you think black people are dumb? Do you think they can't pick up on your vibe? I know you're talking about how you're nice. No, you're going around black people being condescending because you think they don't have the intelligence to pick up on what you're doing. And then when they check your ass, you want to be a victim. If you go around black people being pleasant, there's a 99% chance they're going to be pleasant with you. You're bringing your microaggressions and your passive aggressive nonsense around black people, and you think you're going to have a positive interaction. It don't work that way. You are attracting the energy that you are putting out there. And I personally don't give a damn what he thinks about black people. Because all the stuff that he complained about, One thing that it will never measure up to is white supremacy.
Hmm.
Imagine how black people feel living under this system. So any issue that you're having is very minuscule in the grand scheme of things.
See,
I don't give a damn about your complaints. I just don't. I really don't care. There's absolutely nothing that you're going through, Nick, that could even measure up to what the average black person has to encounter in this country. And if it's that much of a problem to you, then just completely stay away. But at the end of the day, it's not what he's making it out to be, because Tariq talks about this a lot on his show. He talks about how these people kind of get off. It's damn near erotic how they get off on the black boogeyman fetish, how they sit around making up terror stories about their encounters with black people, and it's all bullcrap. A lot of what they're saying is lies, and that's why we can't feed into it. Like I said, we shut it down, we stop them in their tracks, we stop the bullcrap, because it is dangerous for us to allow the propaganda against us to fester. It is very dangerous, and history proves that. Present day proves it. Because like I said in about 2 shows ago, allowing these people to do that is shaping the narrative in society that black people deserve for harm to come against them because we're bad people. And that narrative is going to have to be shut down once and for all. So as they get online and they spew their nonsense, you get online, you counteract it, you shut it down. You hold that mirror up to their faces and let them know you are in no position to judge us, because your community has rolled completely off the damn rails. Just spiraled completely out of control. So much so to the point, like I said, the media is going out of their way to not report on all the shit that is happening in that community right now. Every other week, it's something crazy happening. And the stories don't really see the light of day, which is insane. They're running from an imaginary boogeyman. He's talking about how he might get a gun in his face and he's afraid for his life. The reality of the matter is, some crazy ass white boy from your community might walk into a building and shoot it up before you ever have that type of encounter with a black man. And that's just the reality of what it is.
Meanwhile, talk about the white on white crime, right? Meanwhile, Chuck U. Schumer, Chuck Schumer, that's his name, right? He's him, and what's the House Speaker, Donald Trump's boy right now? What's his name? You remember his name?
The House Speaker?
Yeah, Speaker of the House, the Republican Democrat, the Republican Party leader right now.
I don't know, Mike Johnson?
Mike Johnson, yeah. Him and Chuck U. Schumer are right now got freaking government shut down. You want to talk about white on white crime? The two of them are going. They got the government shut the fuck down right now. You want to talk about white on? It's crazy out here. Like you really pointed out, they really crashing the hell out. You know.
But it's all universal order. That we got to keep that in mind.
But you see, a Nick
Fuentes. Nick Fuentes.
Flores. I like Flores better. Shout out to all the
How
Flores.
you gonna give this man just a completely different last name?
No, Flores don't deserve him. I'm just saying, Flores is a better name. Shout outs to all the Flores out there. The fuck? That's all I'm saying.
I can't do it right now.
No, but the Flores them of the world out there right now, I done lost my train of thought thinking about them. I'm sorry.
I'm not dealing with you right now. I promise you. No, but the crash outs are real. Like I said, there's been like 7 mass shootings within a span of a couple of weeks.
That's what I was gonna say. They have gone. the types of Nick Fuentes, or he's a Spanish, like you pointed out,
A white
white
Latino.
white Latino, right? They have to go very hard in the paint, right? Because you got to remember, a big part of the whole fight right now is the government. Why got the government got shut down right now is because of like health care and deportation for that community. So they got to go hard in the paint.
So what you? I'm not gonna do this right now. I mean, they've.
Did I
I
say
mean,
something? Did I say
no,
something
you
wrong?
didn't say anything wrong, but it's kind of always been that way. But I get what you're saying. Like they got to really show their allegiance and whatnot.
They got to go hard because they got to, they got to show why you guys are making that fight.
Right? I think this. I don't know what Nick. Palmetto said he was Mexican. I don't know what his background is, but yeah, I mean they really do have to go hard in the paint and I guess prove themselves to the Anglos, because although they are white men, they're white people.
But like he pointed out, white is not but a
They're
gang. So I mean,
yeah, but white is it's a racial category in America, and it's also a secret society, and it's also a status.
mm-hmm. All those things, all of the above. Multiple things can be true at the same time.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's definitely those three things. But yeah, the Nick Fuentes of the world, they do have to go hard in the paint to show their allegiance to the Anglo whites, because they want to be in that gang, they want to be in that group, and that's all well and fine to me. But just keep our name out your damn mouth. Like, leave us out of it. Why are these people constantly focused on us? But when you think about it, the scapegoating is the only way they maintain the system. But that's why I'm so happy that the universe is tearing down that narrative. And now that we have kind of set back and we're not out there really going hard how we used to, because we have come to the conclusion, in the Black grassroots especially, that we don't have a damn thing to prove to these people. So we're sitting back and watching them crash out against each other because they can't scapegoat to us anymore. I'm so happy to be seeing this happening in real time, to see all the propaganda and all the effort and energy that they put into demonizing our community backfire on them, because all the effort, the resources that the media, the police, all of it, putting all their resources into demonizing us and ignoring the cancer and the virus that is their community, and ignoring it so much so to the point that now it's spilling over and they can't contain it. So by them not being able to contain it, they're starting to eat each other. And all we're doing is sitting back watching.
Damn, things go in cycles, don't it?
We're sitting back watching, because things do go in cycles. This is a repeat of Europe. This was their history in Europe. They were literally over there eating each other. And I mean like cannibalizing each other. Because we weren't in the mix. They didn't have anybody to take their savagery out on, so they took it out on each other. Right now, we're sitting back. We're not jumping out there in the streets. We're chilling. We're good. We're rocking and riding with the ancestors. And we're watching this whole thing crash. And it don't have nothing to do with us. But what we are not going to allow is for them to try to keep the spark of that scapegoating going. Because it's time for these folks to pay the piper. It just is. Like I said, they sat back and they ignored the problems in their community, because for so long they were able to scapegoat and propagandize against us. And now that we're no longer accepting that and we're not allowing it to happen, because again, like I said, we come to the conclusion that we have nothing to prove to anybody. And now they don't have a choice but to confront each other. And with that being said, I do want to go ahead and segue into this next story, because this is another issue that is starting to brew, especially on the heels of the killing of Charlie Kirk. We're starting to see these Charlie Kirk wannabes and copycats out here. And I'm so happy that their momentum is being dispelled and they're getting ran out the paint and they're being exposed for the phonies that they are. So we're going to go ahead and roll this clip, because I can't remember the name of this group, but they're one of these, this whole debate me bro culture, where these people want to go out to college campuses and debate about really frivolous topics.
So what they really are, is they're influencers. I know. No, seriously, I know, I get it. But what they really are, right, is they're influencers.
Okay.
They get like a crash course or courses or continued training on this type of behavior, this type of speech, and they go around and do it. They do it on internet now. It's done move to college campuses, but it's been going on the internet for a while. So that's the difference between content creators on the internet. That's the difference between content creators and influencers, right? The influencers are generated, paid, and if you all notice, they all have a certain look about them, and it doesn't matter what they're influencing you about. They always have their groups, of how they look, the things that they type of say, and it's kind of structured. That's why it's so easily identified.
So they might be being funded by some of the same people that Charlie Kirk was being funded by.
Well,
because people, let me say this before you play the video. There was some guy who called into a space. I think I want to start doing spaces. Anyway, a space that one of the guys I watched on YouTube played on his channel, X Space. And he was talking about how Charlie Kirk, pretty much rose up from the grassroots. And they were like, dude, Charlie Kirk was funded by billionaires. He didn't rise up from the grassroots.
That's funny you said that, because that thought came across my mind today, and I was like, okay, I got to research it and figure out what that foundation that he's got, that thing, because now I keep on hearing them reference it, his thing, his company that he had, and I keep like that thing is growing. But I do something that Candace Owens said that
what
really
is
stuck
it called?
out.
Turning Point,
Turning
something
Point,
like that.
Turning Point USA. Candace Owens said something to the point of, listen, if you guys try to put a shell into his seat and try to make us follow a certain line that you guys want us to go down, I'll be your worst enemy. And when things stick out in my mind, it's never for no reason. And that just keeps on ringing out. And I really got to figure out what she meant by that. Who is she actually really talking to? Because that's right there.
Their billionaire backers is who she's talking to.
But who is that?
She said two names. I don't remember the names, but
I got to do some digging. But I'm glad you brought that up. Sorry,
it's cool. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and run the clip.
A clash on campus sparking a debate about the First Amendment. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Rory Johnston.
And I'm Carrie Sharp. Members of Fearless Debate say they were just trying to create conversation and discourse on Tennessee State University's grounds.
But the NAACP's Nashville chapter says the group came to campus with rhetoric aimed at provoking and demeaning students. News Channel 5's Aaron Cantrell tells us how the fallout is having a big impact.
Because this incident has gone viral, it's sparking strong responses from not only students, also alumni, advocacy groups, and beyond. The group behind the Fearless Tour, a grassroots organization inspired by the late Charlie Kirk, says it's bringing honest conversation and open debate back to America's college campuses.
And I would say getting rid of DEI works towards that objective.
On Tuesday, the conservative commentators entered Tennessee State University, a historically black college without permission, according to officials, bringing a table, microphone, and inflammatory signs, sparking outrage from students. Campus police and staff responded, removing them from the property.
You know, in a university, I think particularly in the aftermath of Charlie Kirk, there are some genuine security issues, not just for people on campus, but for people who might be coming in.
TSU says students conducted themselves professionally and respectfully. Social media posts from the group show students shouting, filming, and following them as they were escorted away. John Vile, a contributor to MTSU's First Amendment Encyclopedia, says TSU had the right to remove the group under its policy requiring advance approval for demonstrations.
You know, what TSU has done, as far as I can tell, is perfectly legitimate. There are different rules for different places.
But the NAACP Nashville chapter goes further, saying this was not just political expression, but an intentional effort to antagonize, disrupt, and instill fear in a space meant to be safe and supportive for black students. They added, "We are both infuriated and alarmed that groups like Fearless Debates are targeting HBCUs in 2025 with rhetoric that echoes a long history of exclusion, racism, and systemic oppression." TSU representatives say they are reviewing all video footage to determine how the individuals gained access to the campus. In Nashville, Aaron Cantrell, News Channel 5.
Thanks, Aaron. Meantime, what unfolded on TSU's campus, posting this attack on Cam Higbee.
No, but it's done.
No, it wasn't that. But that's
Oh.
fine.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so I want to say this. Shout out to all the young students out there at TSU. TSU is an HBCU, historically black college and university. What was the point of that? What are you going to an HBCU to debate?
Okay, so I'm really glad you brought that up. I'm so glad you asked that question, right? It's the copycat thing where if right now, if I'm in a place where I'm a young white male, right? I am looking to further my social career in social media type of career, my influencing type of career. I can really boost that right now if I go viral in a moment by going to one of these places and creating one of those viral moments. It's a sad behavior, but
It is white supremacy and entitlement. That's what it is firsthand. That's the first element of it. Yeah, they want to go viral. Yeah, they do. But for you to think, like I said, maybe I'll do a breakdown on white supremacy one day because people don't understand how sinister, demonic,
ain't no maybe. You need to.
and crazy the system of white supremacy is. One of the arms of it is ambush. They ambushed that campus. They had no right to be there, and that's why they were removed. They were supposed to have permission from the campus to be there to have a debate in the first place.
Let me say something too. Most white people, right? Because you need to do that. Because most people, especially white people, don't really understand white supremacists or don't understand white supremacy.
Yes, they do.
Even most don't. Most don't. Even though
Let me let you in on the
please let me finish my thing. Even though they practice it, they they hold it up. The majority doesn't even understand what it is they're doing and how they're doing it. But go ahead.
One of the other elements of white supremacy is the denial of white supremacy. The denial of white supremacy and playing dumb, pretending like you don't know what white people, they know what white supremacy is. So believe me.
All white people?
I can't speak for all white people, but white people,
the majority of them.
The majority of them know what white supremacy is, but one of the elements of white supremacy is the denial of white supremacy, pretending to be oblivious to white supremacy. That is another element of it.
Yeah, definitely.
So these people know exactly what it is and what they're doing.
Right.
Their job is to confuse you and make you question yourself and make you believe that you are not seeing what the hell it is that you're seeing. It's a Jedi mind trick, is what it is. But back to what I was saying. Let me take a sip because I'm starting to get a little worked up. I can feel it. I can feel it in my chest. Just give me 1 second. Give me 1 second.
We only got about a few minutes left. So.
I'm gonna say it real quick. I'm gonna get
shout outs to what's the name of that channel? Your channel on YouTube?
Shelly Speaks Truth.
Yeah, because they came in late, so I let them ride for the whole show, for the whole end of the show, I should say.
Who came in late?
Your YouTube.
Oh, okay. But yeah, honestly, I need to write Tariq Nasheed. I need to get in touch with him because I need Tariq Nasheed to break down white supremacy. I don't think I could do it enough justice, to be honest with you. People need to understand this system. This system is so... let me say this. And I'm not trying to give these people no types of props, but one thing I will say is they have been fine-tuning this system for damn near 1,000 years. This system is so codified, so well put together, that a global minority, white people are only like 6% of the world's population, and they control the entire planet. So they fine-tuned this system. So I'm gonna have to give credit where credit is due.
So here's my question to the white folk. Hey, white folk, how do you fuck up something you've been doing for 1,000 years? You've been fine-tuning for 1,000. How do you fuck that up? No, seriously, how do you fuck that up? Hit me in the comments. I want to know how.
Nothing lasts forever. The thing about the universe is that you have to pay your spiritual debts, and this is the beginning of that. So we're witnessing the beginning of a group of people having to just pay their spiritual debt, and that's what it is. Because, like I said, a system that is so profound, so codified, and so well put together. You have the minority group on the planet controlling the entire damn planet. And it's something that people really need to understand. And again, because people get confused by this, so I guess I'll say it again, even though I feel like I shouldn't have to. Not all white people are white supremacists. White supremacy is a well-crafted, well-put-together system that a good number of white people do participate in, if we're just going to be honest. But again...
Well, that's what I was saying before. That I don't think it's the majority, though. But I think by default...
I beg to differ.
I think by default, a lot of people... I think by default, a good majority of the people just going by their day
White
by
people
day
are
doing.
not that naive. They understand that they benefit from the system of white supremacy, and that's why all these good white folks have never done any goddamn thing to dismantle the system.
I didn't say nothing about a good white folk.
Like they talk
Don't
about
do
it's
that.
not me, it's not me, it's not me, but you haven't dismantled it. You haven't helped to do that because you benefit from it, and you're well aware that you do. So being naive and trying to act like you don't know what's up, you're only fooling yourself. You damn sure ain't fooling me. I know you know what time it is. But again, people are not going to be in a rush to dismantle what they benefit from. And I'm not asking anybody to do that because they're just not going to do it.
Would you take the roof off of your head?
I'm going to be very honest with you. I honestly feel like if the shoe was on the other foot, black people would dismantle the system of black supremacy. And I say that, and I'm being honest. I really feel like we would. Really feel like we would not watch a group of people, and we wouldn't, because we always fight other people's fucking fights for them.
But shout outs to TikTok, right? Banned me for my black supremacy shirt, right? Black supremacy is not a whitewashed version. Shout out to Palmetto Star. It's not a blackwashed version of white supremacy. It's not absolutely that. So
I'm just saying, if the roles were reversed.
Well, if the rules were reversed, But if there was if black supremacy, when black supremacy rises to what it needs to be, the true spirit of black people, which is actually godhood, there is no room for stepping on another human being in order to elevate our lives. There's no room for any of that. So, you know what I mean? So black supremacy can't even be compared to white supremacy. It's not the same thing.
Black supremacy is not a thing. It's not.
But it actually is, though.
We're not looking to create a system to be supreme over anyone.
No, but we are supreme beings.
I get what you're that part. But the whole point I'm making is that history shows us that if white people were living under a system of injustice and it was being done to them by another group of non-white people, black people would actively help white people dismantle that system. And our history shows that because, like I said, we have always stood in the paint and helped other groups of people fight their struggles. We're not doing it right now because those people have shown us that they've given us their ass to kiss, so we've fallen back.
And furthermore, if we get in the middle of that, we're the first ones getting fucked up.
Yeah, we're going to get hit across the head first.
Y'all white on white crime alone.
But beyond that, beyond us not wanting to get hit across the head because we've taken the blows and that's not anything new to us, we decided to fall back because these very people that we've helped with their own struggles, they come out and side with oppression. They just do. As soon as they get a leg up, they side with the oppressor. So we've fallen back from that. What I'm going to say as we begin to close out, I'm going to say shout out to all those young black men and black women on that campus, because those gentlemen left out of there without a hair on their head touched.
Right.
Those young people, they exercised a lot of restraint because their personal space was invaded by these people.
Well, to be honest with you, right? His story, or his, actually not even his story, but history, real history, shows us that we have not been violent against our oppressors, against our haters, against that people who think they are somehow superior than us. History shows us that we're not that. We don't do that.
We
have
don't
not done
provoke.
that.
We don't provoke violence, but we damn sure will protect ourselves.
Well, I'm not. Yeah, well, I'm not talking about protecting.
Damn sure do
I'm
that.
not talking about protecting ourselves, but I'm just saying, like, we have.
Right, we don't. We're
We
not
don't
the
have a.
aggressors. We're not the aggressors. We are not the aggressors. You hear that, Nick Fuentes? We don't start shit with people. They started with us. And with that being said, shout out to those young men and young women on that campus. They didn't give those fools any material. They don't have anything to run with. The grift was shut down, and that's what we need to continue to do. And like a lot of people are saying, because this whole debate me culture thing, it's not getting the traction that they want it to get. And I'm so happy that when they came to a black college, they got ran out the paint. We do not want to debate you. There's nothing to discuss. There's nothing to debate. You're coming to a university to debate us about what? Our existence? What are we debating? That's a real question. What are they coming to debate? You're talking about DEI should be illegal. Okay, who gives a damn? DEI doesn't benefit black people.
Right.
Black people will like 4% of DEI hires. Take that DEI debate to the white PWI and talk to white women about that, because they're the biggest beneficiaries of DEI.
And that's another thing. You pointed out in a recent show about the fact that this whole Trump movement and with going to Chicago and the troops and everything is not really a movement against Black America. What it really is a movement against the immigration status. They're just not showing their hand.
Right.
At this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy because it kind of ties in too with what the Nick guy was saying earlier, to where he was talking about, it's the same thing in here in Chicago with all these black people, XYZ, whatever the hell he was saying, right? So it's a narrative. It's a narrative, and you can actually see. You can connect the fucking dots if you're looking.
Right. He's just blowing smoke out of his ass. These people know what they're saying is foolishness.
Right. But
the narrative has to live.
It starts to, there's financial gain behind it, whether it's from some big corporation or it's the aspirations of, organically going viral.
Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, that is definitely an element of it. But like I said earlier in the show, it's also psychological warfare.
Yeah, well, that would definitely be
paid.
That would definitely be on the spectrum of paid for, right, by big organizations and big funders. It would definitely fall under that spectrum right there.
Yeah, it does. And at the end of the day, I want to say this as I begin to close out. Again, shout out to those babies out there on that campus. They stood on business. They got them the hell up out of there. Stop. Don't show up at an HBCU talking about you want to debate. We don't want to debate you. We don't have anything to say to you. You're irrelevant to us. We're trying to take care of our community. Like I said, there's really nothing to debate. Go and set up a table at a PWI and start a campaign against mass shootings. Start a campaign against all the pedophilia going on in your community. Start a campaign against the numerous crash outs.
Start a campaign against one half of the country want the Epstein files released, and the other half of the country is saying shut up. White America, I should say. Y'all white on white crime. We're gonna leave y'all out of it. Y'all leave us out of y'all bullshit.
There is just, again, there's just too much going on in you guys' community for you to be worried about us. Let's just be real. And I was thinking about this analogy earlier. You have the scenario of the rival gang members in Chicago. A lot of the killings that happen in Chicago, and I'm not justifying the killings that are happening in Chicago by any means. I think all of it needs to stop. But these people will continue to highlight a lot of that stuff is like rival gang members and stuff like that. This is not your everyday rank and file black person that's out there shooting up the block. So let's just be very clear about that. But you have a scenario where you may have some rival gang members who are beefing with each other. And unfortunately, people do get caught in the crossfire of that. And there are organizations that are out there actively working to dismantle that crime that is happening in the community. We're not oblivious to the crime that's happening, but it's being blown out of proportion. It's not to the magnitude that they're making it. And they're talking about these street corner incidents that are happening. Meanwhile, they got people driving cars through churches, gunning down police officers, shooting up schools and churches. So you, again, you're in no position. And I'm just going to stop there. You're in no position to critique the black community. You have too many issues going on in your community. Stay out of our business. We will handle our own problems. Go over there to your community and fix all the shit y'all got going on over there. Now, I want to say this to black people. Do not let these people bait you into these frivolous debates. We don't have time to be debating these people. We don't have time for that. We do not have time to debate. There's nothing to talk about. There's nothing to debate. What you need to be doing.
Grab a mirror, hold it up, and just laugh. Grab a mirror, hold it up, and laugh.
Pretty much. But black people, under the sound of my voice, please share this broadcast. Because what I'm about to say, people need to hear this. They say we don't hold ourselves accountable, which is a lie. I see black people holding black people accountable all over the internet all day long. We are not accountable to them. They are not the moral standard by any means. So let's please understand that. These people are not the moral standard.
Never been.
They're in no position to judge us, critique us, give us advice about a goddamn thing. What we need to be doing as a black community is taking out the time, first of all, to learn our history. That is very important. Because too many of us don't know our history. We need to learn our history so that we can see the greatness that we come from. That will build our self-esteem, because I do see a deficit of self-esteem in our community. Knowing your history, understanding the greatness that you are and that you emerge from will help you understand that the only thing that we need to do is to continue to be great. We don't need to worry about people on the outside of our community looking in, trying to make us feel bad about ourselves. We need to continue to grow. We need to continue to persist. We need to continue to focus on what is going to continue to build our society. Those people are going to continue to crash out because, like I said, the scapegoating is over with. We done shut that down. Every time they come at us with something, we just going to tell them what's going on in their community and tell them to go fix that shit and leave us alone. And we need to move on. We don't have time to keep going back and forth. We have nothing to prove to these people. We need to continue to focus on the greatness that we are. We definitely need to learn our history so that we will know where we came from in order to know where we're headed. We don't have time to debate. We need to hold ourselves to be accountable to continuing our legacy. That's what we need to be accountable to passing the baton to the next generation. Not getting into circular arguments and debates with these people. Let them fall down by the wayside. And with that being said, we need to continue to hold our heads up high. Do not let these people break your confidence. Do not let these people demean you and degrade you and make you feel like you are less than what you are. The accountability that we need to focus on is to continue the greatness of our people and our legacy. And with that being said, thank you very much for tuning into tonight's show. Please return next week, same time, same place, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on Too Raw for TV. Thank you for watching, and have a good night.